Should we get little man in the camera?
Yeah.
Where? Oh, is he still all the way underneath?
Yeah.
Can. Look, you're on camera. Oh, there he is. No, he's moving. He's coming out. Alright guys, we're at New Jersey Motorsports Park for Global Time Attack. This is kind of like a one-off event for us, and if you're not familiar with Time Attack, basically it's just the fastest lap of the day wins. It's not wheel-to-wheel racing. What's kind of cool about this is it gives you an opportunity to try stuff, where wheel-to-wheel racing, we have a practice session, then we have a qualifying. So I may not always want to make changes, because if I go backwards, then I start lower for the race, stuff like that. This event is put up your fastest time, so in between each session, you know, tinker with the car and try and figure something out to go a little bit quicker. So that's what's kind of cool about events like this. So let's get the car together and see how first session goes. Alright guys, so we just finished first session. Went pretty good. I did a 109.5. Now if you've been following us for a little bit, that's the exact lap time that I did the first race here with NASA. Now granted, I have the flaps and I did an extra little wing angle, but the tire situation is worse off. And it's definitely a little bit hotter, so the track's a little greasier. So all things considered, first session out, matching my best time ever. Pretty good. Pretty much going to put a little bit of fuel in it, maybe trim out the rear wing a tiny bit. The car seemed to be a little bit pushy, and I think that's it. I'm gonna look at my data and kind of see where that kind of leads me. All right, so we're getting ready for a second session. We trimmed out the wing a tiny bit, and that's it. We'll see what we get. The track's getting hotter, so I don't know. We'll see. So session 2 went well. We're gonna look at my data real quick. I picked up or went about 2-3 tenths quicker, which is kind of interesting because even though it got hotter, you know, I was able to find a little bit of time out there. So I'm gonna dive into my data, kind of see where that leads me. Modified my line a little bit through the light bulb, which, so you can see like there's a big discrepancy here. So I did something a little bit different just to try it out, and again, that's kind of what these events are nice for. So I'm gonna dive into that, kind of see what we get. All right, so this is kind of cool. If you remember, in video world, it's only gonna be like a minute ago. I trimmed out the rear wing on this session, and if we look at our max speeds across all of our runs, so you can see we got 30, 29.8, 30, 30, 30, on the 30s, even a 31.7. This morning run, when we had a little bit more wing angle on the car, 29, 29, 28, 28. So that's kind of cool, just, you know, that little bit of wing angle. I might kind of take a tiny bit more out. The car was a little more balanced that session. Yeah, maybe taking a tiny bit more out, the car might be okay still. But what I might do is actually tinker with our original set of canards, just put the high mount canard on, see what that does. So, you know, just kind of have fun with it. Let's try some stuff out, see if we can find some speed. All right, so after looking at data, we picked up a little bit of top speed, which was cool. The car is still pushing, and I think a little bit more downforce, or, you know, just grip overall is what we're gonna shoot for. So our old canards, we're gonna put only the high mounts on. So we're only gonna do the upper. The lower probably won't do too much since it's sitting in high pressure way down here with all this stuff going on. But the upper might do something for us, so it might be kind of cool. Maybe get a little more grip through 3, 5, and through the light bulb. So yeah, we'll see where that leads us. So we're in a little bit of a weather delay. You can see it's actually not too bad out. You might be able to see, you know, the clouds over that way. There's lightning, and if lightning is within a certain distance of the track, they have to shut it down. So it gave me time to swap tires. So here's what came off of the car. So you can see like this inner groove is pretty much completely gone. Almost nothing left. So what went on, let's look at the front, a little bit easier. There's at least the grooves. So that way we know that there's more rubber on them. These were the ones that I found in my attic. It was before I started putting the little tick marks on them. So my guess is they're like around the mid-teens, while these are close to 30. So they should be a little bit better, but ain't gonna be crazy. But I'm only a 10th off of second place right now, so you know, kind of want to try and find that 10th or 2 and get second. So we'll see what happens. Alright guys, so it's the end of day 4, or session 4, so it's the end of day 1. I ended up going a little bit quicker that session. I did a 109.1 something, so I'm happy with that, best I ever went. I did have a predictive lap of a 108.7 or something. I was up a couple tenths through turn 1, 2, 3, but then one lap through the left-hander I lost a couple tenths, and then I was up a couple tenths again and then lost it through the bowl. So you know, still couldn't quite string together that perfect lap. That's probably the fastest I'm going to go, because tomorrow's four sessions are going to be spent putting this back into American iron trim to get it ready for nationals at Mid-Ohio. Alright, so I'm looking over my data and I'll show you what I got. So this is braking for turn 7. You can see I screwed something up. So this is braking for turn 7, and you can see I screwed something up, and I was just slow the whole way, and you can see how much time was lost down here. You know, so what that tells me, there's definitely an 8 in the car. There's definitely well into the 8s in the car as is. So I might give it one last go, first session tomorrow morning, just as is. But then I gotta, you know, start getting the car ready for nationals. So I want to put the old Aero setup on it and at least kind of, you know, feel that out. So, but here's something kind of cool. So you can see through the bowl, with the addition of the canards, I added a tiny bit of wing, and you can see through the bowl I definitely picked up some speed as well. So yeah, definitely the grip was there. This is definitely a downforce grip track, but I couldn't quite string that like good lap together. So we'll see how tomorrow goes, and yeah, I think that's about it for today. Alright guys, so here's where we're at after yesterday. There's 4 of us, light's probably terrible, there's 4 of us within like 0.2 of a second. So as much as I want to change everything back to the AI stuff, I think it might be worth it to at least give the morning session a shot with the car set up as is, because if I pick up 0.3, I jump up 3 spots, you know. So it's definitely tight in our class, aside from James, who's way out in front. So pretty much we're fighting for second. So yeah, I'm going to give it a shot this morning and then see what happens after that. So I went a little bit quicker on that one. Don't know what started happening. I'm talking to the camera, don't worry. I started smelling smoke, which smelled like tire rub, which is kind of strange because it's been fine all weekend. But and I started to smell a little bit gas too, so I decided to pull it in. I did a 9.0 on my solo, so we'll see what the official time is. But I mean, the car felt pretty good, all things considered. Alright, so I took the top off of my surge tank cover, and you can see there's definitely some wetness. Ready? Once I turn the pump on, you can see a little bit of fluid coming out, or fuel. So definitely not good. That's a factory installed fitting right there, I think. So, don't know what I'm gonna do. Maybe just take this connector off, tighten it down, and hopefully good to go. Alright guys, so I took the top of the surge tank off. So here's the whole setup that goes inside of it. And if you remember right, it was leaking around this electrical connection. Here's the O-ring that went around it, and I'll show you what it's kind of doing. Now, it is intact. I don't know if this will show up on camera or not. But if I pull it ever slightly, you can see it's just kind of cracked and not looking so good. So I'm going to try and find a new little rubber O-ring. So this radium surge tank I've been using for about 6 years. So the fact that an O-ring after 6 years finally started leaking a little bit, like, I can't say enough good things about it. Simple little fix and then we'll be good to go. Alright guys, so I was able to find a replacement. In the camera it looks a little different, but you can see it's the same size. So this is one of the reasons I have, I bring bins of stuff with me, in case you forget your hood pin. You never know when you need. So here's the O-rings. Might be a little hard to see. You never know when some little tiny 10-cent thing could be enough to ruin your weekend, so we got extra fittings, So yeah, so part of the reason this car has been able to run every lap of every race for the last 4 seasons now, just little tiny stuff like this, just being prepared, can pay off huge. All right, so we're gonna flick it on. There you go. Leak fixed. Back to it. Yeah, it's not.
Is it just an off weekend, or is it usually not that crowded? Never mind. I'm interfering with the video.
All right, guys. So that session was interesting. Ended up going off track, as you saw. I tried going into turn 2 like I've been doing all weekend, and the grip just isn't there. I was just looking at my data, and I'm definitely slower in the higher speed stuff. I did do a 10-1, so pretty happy with that, given how the car is set up. Next session, I might try 1 or 2 little things. I might, to try and see how cooling goes. Probably gonna put a piece of tape like across the front, make sure I still have good cooling with it taken off, and then maybe just take another degree out of the wing, because the car was still a little bit pushy. It wasn't terrible though, so I think that's about it. And then this is our last session, so you know, I'm kind of just using this to tinker and learn stuff. So that's about it for this one. That last session, if you were at the event, I think I was pretty much the only one on the track. When I went out, I think there was 2 other people with me, but I was just turning lap after lap after lap, because again, I was kind of using these last few sessions to get the car ready and just kind of feel it out with the different aero setup for nationals. So yeah, I ended up doing a 109.5 in AI trim, which is the fastest I went in AI trim. But what that tells me is, with the ST Aero, I probably could have did a mid-8 or something. But, you know, again, learning experience, a lot of fun this weekend. Jason, if you're watching this, thanks for putting on an awesome event. So yeah, so next one, we're moving shops and everything, so we'll get back to maybe a little composite videos or something. So as always, thanks for watching out. If you liked this video, want to see some composite stuff, whatever, please hit that subscribe button down here, and I will see you guys in the next one.